And this Friday is our 2015 prom at the Cascades from 6 to 11:30 p.m. And our senior trip this year is May 5th, and we're going to Universal Studios. And grad night is May 29th, and we're going to Six Flags. There will also be a senior versus junior basketball game that is going to be held next week. And we are also holding elections for next year's class and next year's ASD positions. And May 8th is going to be our next blood drive.
Great. What day is the basketball game?
I believe Wednesday. They've been changing the days.
And did you get a capping gown?
Yes.
So you're graduating?
Yes.
Awesome.
Just ignore it.
No student showcase. Board member communications.
All right. Thanks, Mike. Okay, at Rare Earth, currently our attendance enrollment is 65. We've had a few students who have finished, graduated, and we will be having several more. And we have 115 at Abraham Lincoln. Update on WASC, we should know in early May about our initial accreditation. Other things, things just to kind of give a little praise to the teachers at Alternative Education. And I'm talking about the teachers at this time at Rare Earth. Our teachers have been extremely consistent this year in requiring our students to meet a higher level academically. And many of our students have stepped up and they've been successful. Other things that we've continued to do is utilize our Cassie math teacher. Has been beneficial to us, and Heather Conklin has provided the art class, which has been good for the students and providing a lot of invaluable skills to deal with a wide range of different issues that they'll have in their lifetime. We started our testing today. Mr. Bartel says as he's giving the test, the students were working very hard, making a lot of effort in the test, taking their time. A couple other important things that have happened recently. Mr. Montague was able to take a handful of our students over to Rosamond High School to get some help from the CalSO advisor, Mrs. King, with FAFSA. That's been good. We're going to do that again. She was very helpful. Our students really appreciated it. Also, Mr. Montague will be taking about 10 to 12 students to AD on a field trip, and so we're looking forward to that. We've been invited to participate in the Night of the Museum showcase. I'd like to thank Mr. Roney and Mrs. Tainsley for doing that. Several of our students are very excited about it, and they're going to be participating. They're very happy to be able to do this. They have some great ideas for history projects, and so Mr. Shevlin, he's the one that's over that. He's our social studies teacher, so he's taking care of that. So that will be a lot of fun. Also, one more thing too, Mr. Bartel has. We have a bunch of leaves that we've gotten bagged up, maintenance bagged up for us. Mr. Bartel is he's got a green thumb, and so he's rototilled all those leaves into a section in between the two portables. So now have a little bit of a garden club to teach some more students how to garden, and so we're excited about that. Graduation is going to be coming up. We're going to have several students graduating from Abraham Lincoln and Rare Earth, and very proud of the students. A lot of students have really stepped up this year. It's interesting because we see some students at the beginning of the year not really doing a whole lot, and you see them step up and get their credits done, and they're working hard, and we're very proud of them that they did it. And that's about it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Going normal protocol, and before I quickly introduce someone, earlier this year we had a unique opportunity. I was actually at Alternative Ed School Rare Earth and saw an amazing employee who it looked like from far away helping students. They were wearing their gloves because they were working with food and guiding students through and making sure that they were listening, not trying to rush the food, which is just showing up pizza. And I thought, wow, that's a pretty impressive employee, and I walked up and realized it was one of our students. And at that point, I was pretty excited, said hello, and then heard some stories from our own Roberta Grisham and Bob Bartell, and it was followed up and confirmed about such a great student that was participating in life. And I immediately made a phone call to Mr. Jones, who then ran with it from there. And at this point, I'd like to introduce Mr. Jones, and he's going to tell you about why we're really doing all this, what we're doing. And we give you credit for this because we thank you for allowing us to do these things. Mr. Jones?
You're supposed to clap.
Now,
Okay, same thing, everything, first of all, thank y'all for everything y'all allowed us to do. And it is absolutely my privilege and honor today to show you one of our accomplishments. And even more so, not our accomplishments, the community's accomplishments. I would like to introduce to you the first paid apprentice from Southern Kern Unified School District. He has a job. Christopher Fulton, come on up. It's yours.
I was given the great opportunity to work for RCSD after being watched and shown how it was a hard work ethic. So in a couple weeks I'll be working for the Service District and
Same thing. He's an incredibly hardworking young man who basically was given a chance by people who've had chances. And that's each and every one of y'all, and along with RCSD. Awesome. Thank you.
He's a good young man.
Good evening. Enrollment at Rosamond Elementary is presently at 853 students. We have a couple more kids that will be starting with us before the end of the week. We're just actually waiting for them to bring in their last pieces of documentation, then we can put them in a classroom. Our average daily attendance is presently standing at 94.26, so we improved slightly from last month, so we're very excited about that. Just a few things that are happening at Rosamond. Our PTA is sponsoring a number of events for the remainder of this month and in May. Starting on April 20th and concluding April 24th, we'll be recognizing and appreciating our cafeteria staff because they've gone above and beyond in adapting and accommodating our growing numbers and our many, many field trips. So we've noticed that in the past, we have recognized our teachers, we have recognized our paraeducators, but we always have conveniently forgotten about our cafeteria staff. So the PTA and I sat down, we talked about it, Mrs. Nodmer was involved in that as well, and we decided we need to recognize our cafeteria staff people because they are putting in above and beyond just helping and feeding all of our 853 kids on a daily basis. And every kid walks away with breakfast, lunch, and the after-school kids with dinner. And they do it with a smile on their face, and I know how tired they are because I see them after the last lunch. And they do a phenomenal job for us. We want to recognize them all next week. Also, next Tuesday, April the 21st, I've included a flyer. From 5 to 8 p.m., we will have our next restaurant night at Roberto's. Roberto's is located up the street from us in Sky Park. So you guys are all more than welcome to come on down. You know how good the food is. And just hang out with us and have a good time. Our popcorn fundraiser is going extremely well. We will conclude on April 22nd. We're very excited about being able to provide more opportunities for our kids through field trips and other things that the PTA can do for our kids. The PTA will also be hosting an art show on May the 7th. This will give our kids an opportunity to display their favorite artists. And I understand there will always also be a number of original pieces on display. When we have the invitations printed up, we will have them delivered to Sally so Sally can make sure that all of you get an invitation. Because I know the kids would love to have you come down and just see their artwork. It's really amazing. And lastly, our PTA will be hosting a clothing drive in May. We don't have a date yet, but as soon as we have that date, again, we will notify the board of that. Our students are moving forward with our school garden project. The PTA is going to sponsor our first rollout of the garden project, and we are also in the process of lining up some donations from various sources. We're going to be receiving things such as chicken wire, lumber, just to name two, and we're going to use these in the construction of our raised planting boxes. At the present moment, we're planning to build 8 boxes and we will be planting several types of squash and melons. The kids are very excited about having this opportunity. Going hand in hand with our planting project, several classes are also going to be raising worm for composting in the classroom. The kids have brought in their 2-liter bottles. We have gravel, soil, and the worms will be arriving tomorrow. If you have a chance, we'd like to invite you to stop by and see our various projects in progress. A good time to stop by would be the week of April 27th, when we have a number of things up and running and ready. After we harvest our squash and melons, we're planning to put in our pumpkin patch. The kids are very excited because we're planning to harvest our own pumpkins for Halloween this year. Lastly, we have also submitted our school garden application to Peaceful Valley Farm and Garden Supply. This is going to allow us to make all of our future purchases using their discount card, which will allow us to make our future purchases wholesale or at a substantial discount. So this is a company or a business that actually provides schools with an opportunity to raise their gardens, and they provide us with the stuff that we need, either seeds, soil, gardening equipment at a discount. So we're very excited that we were able to find that. One of our teachers, Jennifer Music, brought that to us. So we've submitted our application. I understand we get our discount card in about 2 weeks. So that's what's going on at Rosamond right now. Thank you.
We have an enrollment of 825 students with the attendance at 94.5. Some key points that I have is this Friday, there's a correction on point 4. Our 5th graders will be going to Avid rather than our 4th graders to Channel Islands University. And Mr. Reader, there was a request, I guess a while back, if you wanted to go, you were invited to go.
I have a 16-hour shift.
Okay, perfect. Well, just so you know, the invitation was there, so.
Yes, I was reminded constantly.
Okay, perfect. I just wanted to make sure that I reminded you again. Our PTO is having monthly meetings. The next meeting will be Tuesday, May 5th at 6 p.m. Also, our PTO is going to be sponsoring a community carnival on May 16th from 11 to 2 at West Park. It will consist of bouncers, food trucks, game booths, and music. Also, on April 22nd, the preschool and kindergarten roundup will be held from 12 to 2 in the library. And then April 29th, Officer Juden and the Kern Crime Prevention Unit will be out at our school presenting on anti-bullying assembly. Also, I want to congratulate our 5th grade teachers. They will be finishing their first round of SBAC assessment. They've gone through the English Language Arts, the performance task, and tomorrow we have our last 2 teachers finishing up their performance task in the mathematics, and they've been doing an awesome job. So I just wanted to let you guys know that 5th graders are already through, and we're getting ready to start our 3rd grade group for the state assessment and stuff. So thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. There's Mr. Ernest is right here. Although everyone beware of the raccoon.
All right, we'll start off with track. Our track team gets started tomorrow with their first meet. They are pretty excited to compete. The hiring and interview process is in full swing at Tropico. We've been interviewing some really strong candidates, especially in the 6th grade. I can't recall ever having 5 candidates that I would hire, within interviewing them in the same pool. I've never had that, so our 6th grade will be well stocked next year. The end of year activities are in the midst of being planned right now. Our class trips and academic and athletic awards ceremonies and promotion ceremonies that planning has all started, and it's going well, and we're receiving a lot of support from the district and Andrea Andrews in food services, so we're very appreciative of that. Kern County Sheriffs will be doing an internet safety presentation to our 6th graders on the 20th of April. And I was talking with Deputy Judy today, and he said they'd like to also do a static display of all their cool vehicles right outside of our gym, so that'll be a nice little addition to the presentation. Our attendance average is 95.02%. That's a little up from last month. And our enrollment is 630. I listen to the elementary enrollments, and so I've been doing some master scheduling recently, and so our numbers are set to jump quite a bit next year, which is cool. So we'll go from 630 to about 670 or higher. So Thank you, elementary schools.
Yeah. Congratulations, Chris. I think that's outstanding. Not that much to report tonight, except I have now received an updated draft from the district and schools legal services on the contract language. That's the work I'm going over here right now. We seem to be much closer to the correct language with a couple of minor adjustments here that I'll get together with Mr. Weinstein on in the next week or so. With any luck, we'll have a document in time to present to the board for a final vote for your next meeting. That's what I'm.
Yeah, May 6th, though, we think we should do it. We should be able to do it.
That's the goal I'm finding.
Yeah.
Only minor adjustments rather than major, so I think it's doable. And that's all I've got for tonight.
A lot of our principals are working not only on the end of the year activities, but working on their master schedules for next year. And we do expect a nice little bump in enrollment because our bubble is usually in elementary, but we're seeing that the elementary bubble now has finally reached the middle school. So we're expecting to maintain our enrollment in our elementary schools and obviously have a bump in at Tropical Middle School. We've been working on our LCAP plan, getting the final numbers for this year, getting that together, and as well as Ms. Hargus is planning LCAP meetings to review data as well as work on new areas that we need to concentrate on for next year. We're also working diligently getting the plans together and the pacing for us to move over to the new DO. And we are also watching, finally dirt is coming back. There has been a lot of dirt actually back at West Park. You can see they went down 3 or 4 feet and now it's almost back up to level again. So we're expecting they are on time. We're expecting them to be done the middle of May to the end of May. So that'll be good. We had our Standard & Poor's rating meeting for our proposed bond sale coming up to fund the groundbreaking of the new elementary school. Went very well, and we are traveling very shortly, found out we'll be traveling up to Sacramento this Sunday night for Monday meeting on the latest CCPT grant. This is the grant that we are applying for ourselves as fiscal agent, and that means it's a pretty large grant. And so we will be up there for a meeting on Monday at the CDE, and it's a very important interview. But the good part about this is once you start getting approved, and you're on their approved list after the first go, it's a much smoother process because they kind of trust you now, they know who you are, and so we're very, very excited about that. We're continuing with the designing of the new RES. Subcommittee met on the foliage for the plans. We have just finished meeting on the kindergarten playground equipment and the primary playground equipment. Very nice stuff. All blue and red, by the way, for the colors. We are continually moving forward on the different areas with DSA, and we have a meeting scheduled in the next couple of weeks to meet with the State Department to get everything finalized so that we can finally have a full sign-off by DSA on all the little changes that have happened because of the different things that are required for fire safety and different things like that. So we're very excited about that, and that's about it.
We had some corrections, some additions. We needed to have a budget page breakdown for the auditors, and also they wanted all of our Title I programs to be included in there, so those are now included.
I will make a motion that we accept the single school plan for RES.
Mr. Gutierrez. Second. All in favor? Aye. Do a vote.
So, as we know, we're getting ready to break ground on the new Rosamond Elementary School. The first part of breaking ground is we will have to start paying bills for the construction of the elementary school. So we have estimated that a $10 million sale will take us into 2016-17 school year, and we will not have to sell anything for the rest of this calendar year. And that will give us enough funding to break ground and get all the infrastructure done, as well as start the building process of the school. We have approved by the voters the $28 million 2015 A series, and out of that, all of that money is to be used for the construction of the elementary school, and out of that, we wish to sell $10 million, and so that is being brought to the board for approval. We have John Greenlee here from Caldwell Forest Winters to do a little presentation on it.
And the audience. Like Jeff was saying, we are in the process of selling your first issuance of bonds from the recent election. What I've included here, I'm going to go through a few items. The first one is what I call a term sheet, and that is a summary of the financing. And I think this is really important to you because you're going to be approving these documents tonight. And this really is a summary sheet, and what it's intended to do, and what I want to make sure that you see, is that we're issuing these debts all within the parameters, and that it's going to be a very sound and very safe decision for you. And I just want to hit on some of the highlights. So we are on this timeline, and we are going to be, hopefully after you approve the documents this evening, posting what we call posting a POS for investors. That is the public offering statement. Well, actually, this one it's an offering statement. We call it the preliminary official statement, and that is then listed for investors to look at. Once that is done, then a few days later, we actually have the sale of the bonds and the pricing. And that's when the structure is really determined, and that will be on May 6th. And then after that, it takes about 2 weeks for the lawyers to put together all the paperwork. So we anticipate a May 20th closing. We'll give ample time to get the documents done, and that's when you actually have the receipt of the funds. As Jeff was saying, it's going to be for $10 million. Your authorization from your election was 28.4. So after that, you'll have a balance of 18.4 million remaining to sell in the future as you need to complete your projects. The next line here, we're going to be using what we call a 25-year structure. And again, this is all within the state regulations, all within what I'm sure you're familiar with, the AB 182. So it's a 25-year term, and that's where you get your best interest rate on the yield curve. So final maturity would be 2040, 25 years from now. Looking down to a few more lines, we have call protection. That means that the bonds cannot be called for 10 years. That's an industry standard. After that point, we have the opportunity to refinance them if we need to at no premium or no cost. There will be no capital appreciation bonds in your structure. Again, you know, a few years back that was a very hotly contested issue throughout the state. Those CABs are used very rarely in certain instances. In this case, you're going to have current interest bonds, ones that yield you the lowest interest rate in the marketplace. Down a little farther, we have bond insurance. We anticipate you receiving and reconfirmation of your A+ rating. What can happen is we can have your bonds then insured by Assured Guaranty or Build America Mutual. That's what those acronyms are for. And if we get insurance on your bonds, your credit rating for those bonds could go up to a AA category. And that then lowers your interest rate because they have a higher credit rating. Underwriters' fees are estimated at this point to be 0.75%, which is under the 1% sort of industry average. Again, we monitor that and make sure that the structure of the deal is all within industry standards. Finally, we have what we call a maximum true interest cost. That is the maximum allowed by law. So in your documents, you'll see that written, that these bonds are not allowed to go over 8%. And what we're projecting now, based on current market, is receiving probably about a 3.3% blended true interest cost on your bonds. I can tell you right now that's a very good interest rate. Interest rates have remained at a very low level chances are you probably will never refund these bonds. I could be wrong, but I don't see interest rates ever going too much lower than this. So it's a good time to be in the marketplace. So again, this is just a summary of what you are going to be entering into and what your bonds can look like. It is our policy and our practice at CFW to come back in probably the next board meeting after the sale to give you an actual, what we call wrap-up presentation with the actual numbers. But whenever I have opportunity to come to Rosamond, I always take advantage of it. So that's why I came today, just to give you a little insight of what you're going to be seeing in probably the next board meeting. Lastly, what I wanted to kind of go over, because it is a really big step, Jeff did include, as he indicated to me, he put in the rating agency presentation. And what I put in the packet I just handed out to you is kind of a summary of that. And that is, it takes a lot of time to prepare it. It's something that we do as your financial advisor. It takes a lot of time for Jeff and staff to review. And what I wanted to really show you is on the first page here is the table of contents. And this is what we present to the rating agencies. And we go through all of these issues and we flesh this out. And it's a very, very comprehensive review of the operations. It's one where I learn a lot about your district. The full presentation that you have is probably a really good handy document for you to have if ever you want to show somebody what is our district all about and what are the fundamental economic indicators, what summaries of your budgets and of your financials, and a good overview. What I've also included is just a summary of all of your debt to kind of show you what's going to happen. So on my page 2 here, we have your first section here is your 2002 election. That's all been issued. You currently have a balance left of that over here, principal outstanding of about $9 million. Your 2008 election, you have a total outstanding of that of 17. So you have a grand total currently outstanding of about $26.7 million of debt. You're going to be issuing $10 million more, so you'll be at around 36.7 when this is done. And then lastly, I just put a little timeline in here. We've discussed that briefly. April 13th, like Jeff said, we had our presentation. It went well. We expect to get our rating reaffirmed on Friday. Today, April 15th, reviewing and approving the documents. April 27th, mail the POS like I was indicating, have our pricing call, and again, May 20th, close the transaction and get your money. The very last thing that I left for you is a copy of last year's credit rating report from S&P. This was just done in September 2014 when we did your refunding. We lowered your tax rate by refunding those bonds, and this just gives you a little idea of what the credit rating and what it looks like as far as the indicators and what they put into it. It's always something nice to have. And we anticipate to have a rating A+ stable, just like before. There was nothing that came out of that meeting that would lead me to believe that you're not going to continue to be a very good, high-quality rating. I think the median credit rating for most school districts in California is A, and you are A+, so you're slightly above the median within the state. So good news is that everything is going well. Very solid financial picture from the investor community, and it's like always, it's a pleasure working with the board as well as staff. And I got a great tour today. I went all the way over to Antelope Bakers, and had a really good time. I saw all the things that have just been going on in the district, and it was very, very exciting to see. And so I'm here to answer any questions about the documents, and it's, like I said, again, it's my honor to be here.